What up, guys? Jason Guyman here. I am trying something new tonight. Hopefully it works. I'm not using a different software. I'm using this software. And so I hope this is just going to be a Q&A. You got questions, we got answers. And so that is what we will be hitting on tonight. And I will show some pictures of this weekend of what we have been doing and how you can make about $1,000 an hour, which is pretty cool stuff. And so I know sometimes people don't always believe that you can do that, but it is 100% possible. And so I will tell you a little bit about what we have done and what I did yesterday, and I got some pictures to show it. And so it will be fun to see us and watch us learn. And if you have questions, ask them down here because I've got answers. And so I didn't know if I'd have anybody come on tonight. I know it's Easter. I hope you all had a great Easter. We went to church this morning, and we had a lot of the CEO Christians. I don't know if you all know what the CEO Christians are, but they're the Christmas and Easter only people and folks. And so the church was crowded, even in our little old Baptist church out in the middle of nowhere, literally. And so $1,000 an hour, those days are good, and they are good. And so they're awesome. And so this is what we will be hitting on of asking questions. I didn't know, like I said, I asked the wife, I was like, should I go on? We had family all day, went to my in-laws, and we played some cards there. We went to my mom's house tonight, and I had time, and I was like, I will come on and see if anybody's got questions. And Cody put, I'm at the fire station tonight. And I remember working those holidays, and it kind of sucks sometimes. I'm not going to lie. I do remember those days when we had to work Christmas and Easter. And if you got lucky, you got all the holidays for the year. In second shift, every third year, they'd get them all again. So that's why I was never a second shift person. So that is why I didn't like to go to second shift, and I didn't go to second shift, and that would be the middle shift. And so with that, we are still in this book. I highly recommend it. I'm actually reading another book. I forget what it is, but I've been reading this book when I go swimming every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. I have it on my earbuds because you can't get Wi-Fi and water stuff, so I only have one book downloaded on it, but I'm actually going through this book every week on our Monday night marketing, and I'm also going through this in our mentorship. And the reason why I'm doing it is because it is a great book to teach us how to sell better, right? We're not selling pressure washing. I say this over and over and over, and I don't know if you guys hear it or not, but we are not selling pressure washing. If we're selling pressure washing, we're usually selling on price, and that is not what we want to do, right? We do not want to sell on price. We don't want to be the cheapest person. And so these are things that hurt us when we are doing this. So I hope you all are having a good Easter. Like I say, this is the book that I highly recommend. And for the tool of the week, I've been using Bard. I don't know if anybody's used Bard. You have ChatGPT, and then you have Google Bard, and it is a different tool that you can use for doing about anything, to be honest. I made this title with Google Bard. Google Bard's a little bit different than ChatGPT, the way that they work, and so it is something that you can do. So I want to just show you before we get on here, if you have any questions, don't hesitate to start asking, so that way I can have some questions when I get back over here. But I want to just share a little bit of this job that we did this weekend. It was a big job. It took me and DJ around 8.5 hours. We did a lot of work. I did a lot of work. DJ did a lot of work. And it did take us all we started at 9 o'clock in the morning, and we ended up getting done around 5:30 or 4:30. Let's see, was it 4:30? 5:30, 5:30, because then we went and ate dinner with the wife. I did, and I was wore out. I had over 1,700 steps from doing this job. I'm just kind of going through some pictures here of what we did, and it was a big job, and it was a nice job that we did, and he got paid very well for it. And so this was a job that we bid, or DJ actually came off of what I talked. Network, it actually came out of my network. My daughter plays soccer, and guess what? When you have a network, your net worth is your net worth, right? Your network is your net worth. And so somebody there knew me, and so he got me this, and I gave it to DJ, and DJ did this job and made very well off of this job. And I will post more about what he did later on, but we did some rust removal, we did some window cleaning, and this was a pretty big building. You can see, I think it was like 700,000 square feet or something crazy like that. You can see we cleaned the whole 9 yards, everything. And so it was a big job, and other people bid it, and they're like, everybody else needs a lift. Do you need a lift? And we're like, nope, we don't need a lift. And so we was able to do everything from the ground other than the one part right up here above the two buildings where you see the blue here. But there was roof access that we could get up there and get that cleaned. And so you can see how we did this big job, and this is about what he made per hour. And so when people think that you can't do it, you're right. This is how many steps I walked. I was wore out. I'm still a little sore. I'm not used to working that hard, of walking 17,000 steps. And that's the thing about commercial work, right? Commercial work will kick your butt. And the reason why commercial work will kick your butt is because you don't get no breaks. I mean, we didn't eat no lunch. We didn't do, only breaks we got was moving the truck from hose to hose barb. And that's pretty much it. Where residential, you get some windshield time and you get some time like that. He didn't even feed me. I mean, I worked slave labor and didn't even get fed yesterday. But, this is something to think about when we are doing commercial work. I know I talked about it last week, and I said you can make anywhere from 10,000 to 100,000. And you get a lot of people are like, there ain't no way you get that, Jason. But you can. And so I've got a bunch of film that I'm going to be putting some videos out about it. And so you'll be able to see it coming up here probably in the next couple weeks or months, that you'll be seeing those videos talking about commercial work and how to get those high paying jobs. And so he did get bid against 2 or 3 other people, but this is what you can do. And you never know, they said they've cleaned this building every 2 to 3 years. So now you've got something for 2 to 3 years. And so this is what you can do to be able to handle these big jobs. So, but I just kind of want to hit on that before we get started too much. I'll see who we got in here. I can't wait to see this. And I do have some questions that somebody had asked me that I will be answering also. It's about deck cleaning and stripping, and I will hit on that question also. But what's up, Soft Wash H2O Pros? We got Jesse James in the house. Good evening, Jason. I have a job coming up, and I was asked to strip and clean the deck and seal it. Well, look, he's reading my mind. He had texted me earlier, and so I will hit on this question here. Actually, let's just, while I'm walking through here, we'll hit on this question, so that way I don't forget it. And if you have any questions, just ask. I don't have nothing. This is just a Q&A, and so you have questions, I've got answers. I know we're right in the beginning of the season. I know that the grass is growing, and when the grass is growing, that means they will be outside mowing their grass, and we're almost to every week. This week is supposed to be in the 70s all week with sunshine, and that grass is going to be flying, which that means people will be out there looking at their house and looking at their stuff. Good evening, Jason. I have a job coming up and I was asked to strip and clean a deck and reseal it. What products and ratios do you recommend for me to do this job correctly? So, there's a couple things that I would ask. One is what type of sealant do you have on it already? Was it like a transparent sealer or was it like the paint on stuff? Because it is a difference when we're dealing with this stuff. If it's the paint on stuff, I mean, both things we're going to use the same thing. We're going to use like a sodium hydroxide mix. I always use the stuff from Pressure Tech. They come in a pound tubs, and if you're going to strip it, I would take it and we put that pound or 3/4 of that pound in a 5-gallon bucket of water, and that bucket's going to get super hot. That sodium hydroxide in there will get super duper hot. You mix this stuff up, you're going to spray this on the deck everywhere, and you're going to let it sit for about 30 minutes. You're going to keep it wet with it. And when you do this, you will do the fingernail test where you'll take your fingernail and you'll scratch it. And when you can start removing that seal, then you take that high pressure 30-degree nozzle, that white tip usually, hold it off about 4 to 6 inches off the board and walk all the way down and back. And that is how we would clean, or that's how we would strip a deck. Now, if they're not going back with a transparent or something along those lines and they're just doing like a paint over deck, then I wouldn't strip it. All I would do is I would get the rough stuff off and then I would paint over top of it. That's how we did all our decks. Now, when you're charging for this stuff, you're going to charge anywhere from about $6 to $8 just to clean and reseal it. And if you were going to strip it, you're about another $4 to $5 to strip it, because it will take twice as long to strip it as it will to clean and seal it. When you are stripping it, if you're using that high stuff of sodium hydroxide, this stuff is super hot. When you put it in this bucket, it'll give you 3rd-degree chemical burns. We used it for putting it on log cabins. We used it on all of it. And when it gets down in your sock and it don't know it's there, you get 3rd-degree burns there, and it hurts like a mofo, but it'll get on your arms. So make sure you're wearing chemical gloves and glasses, so that way this stuff doesn't get in your eyes and stuff like that, because it is very bad. And if you get it on you, that 5-gallon mixture, then get it off of you as fast as you can. I don't care if you fill your boot up with it, of water, because we got to dilute that stuff down or it will burn the living crap out of you. So that's the cleaning, stripping decks stuff. We did this for about 1.5 years. We thought it would be a good idea to do decks to get us through the summertime a lot of times, because nobody does decks and you can make good money off of it. But there's a lot of guys out there that will do them dirt cheap, but I wouldn't recommend it, because there are a pain in the neck for customer service wise. If they are, not the right color, and here's the color chart and they pick this color, but they want it this color. And it just, one time we dripped some paint down on the rocks underneath of it. It wasn't but like 3 or 4 feet off the ground and had some rocks in there, and we're in there flipping all them freaking rocks and putting new rocks on top of the painted ones that we dripped down on there. So that's kind of where we are with decks. Brandon, thanks for don't forget the thumbs up. We got Northeast Power Wash in the house. What's up, you all? We got Mr. Nathan Brinker in the house. I'm going to hit on Nathan a little bit. He sent me a message today. Actually, I think it was this week. Usually when people send me messages on the weekend, I usually don't get them. Just so you know, I usually get to everything on either Sunday night when I'll get down to I try not to do too much on the computer on Saturday and Sunday unless it's just raining. But usually I have something that I'm doing with the family, and I try to make that family time and try to turn off my brain. It don't turn off, because yesterday I worked with DJ all day. But I'm always thinking business. But I do try not. I usually am not sitting at the computer, and so if you send me messages and I don't answer till Monday, that's usually why. And I did answer a bunch of them before I went live here. that I had backed up here. But he had said that he's reading another great book that I highly recommend you to read is They Ask You Answer. And he was saying that, man, I never read articles, or I didn't think I read articles until I read this book. And then I realized that I do read articles before I buy stuff. And so They Ask You Answer. And this book here talks about educating the customer. And this is so important. When we educate the customer and we give them what they want, and they build a relationship with us, and they will buy from you. And this is why we do educational marketing. This isn't about pressure washing. This is answering their questions that they may have. They may have questions about, what do you do to protect my flowers or my plants? You need to have an article or a whole page talking about what you do for property and plant protection. Literally have a whole blog about plant and property protection. And what this will allow you to do, it will allow you to be the expert, and that is why we do this stuff, and that's why people will buy from you. And it works amazing when you do this. And when we do this, whether we write a blog, we do a video and then put that video in a blog. We were talking about Chris when we did my class down in Myrtle Beach with Chris, and Chris sold a full $3,200 job, $3,500 job that he got off of how to do a certain window and how he cleans these windows and how you can clean these windows. And that $400 job turned into a $3,300 job by educating the customer and selling them what they need, right? And this is why it is so important to educate your customer. We are not educating them just about pressure washing, right? We're building relationships. We're doing those things so that way we can not sell on price, because when you sell on price, you lose. That's the only person loses is you when you're selling on price. If you can't believe in yourself, and if you don't think you can, you're right, you can't. But if you believe in yourself and you believe that you can do $10,000 jobs in a day, guess what? You can. And you get lots of pictures. You've seen how many pictures and videos I got from that job yesterday. That DJ got just about as many as I did. And I'm going to share my folder with his folder, so then that way he can start posting about doing these commercial jobs. And guess what happens when you start posting about you doing commercial jobs? You'll get them. And that is what is awesome. You've been an inspiration to me. Thank you for everything you do. Well, thanks for watching. Chemicals on composite decks. So composite decks basically are just plastic. And most of those you can just do a house wash mix and you can rinse it off and it will come right off. Composite decks are super easy. Now, with that said, the old composite decks, now you probably don't see too much of them, but you will see some, is that old gray looking crappy wood. And usually it has black spores in it, and you're not going to get it clean 100%. It was the old Trex decking, and they actually had a lawsuit against them, like, shoot, this was probably 20 years ago. And so this stuff will have black spots all over it, and it's not going to come out. And basically what that is the wood had, they had little chunks of wood in this Trex decking, and that wood had rotted, and that was causing the black spots underneath of it, and there wasn't nothing you could do with it. Now, with the new stuff, you don't have to worry about it. Thumbs up. Thank you. Good evening, everyone. How's everybody doing? Mr. Brian Fletcher in the house. See, you're never too old to do this. You can do this. Right here's an old fart. I think he's like, I don't know, 60, 64, 65. He's old, right? I shouldn't say that because I'm keep getting closer. So, um, $1,000 an hour, those are good days. And it can happen, right? Jason had $1,000 an hour day. You can believe in yourself, you will get it up there. Just linked up with our mayor candidate to wash his office. What's up, peeps? I'm at the firehouse. What's up, Trisha? Happy Easter. Just door knocked in my neighborhood, and a guy opened the door saying my son owns a pressure washing business. Nice. You say, what's his name? What's up, Mr. Scott Ferguson? How are you doing? CEO Christians. I like this. Happy Easter. Contract from McDonald's. Do you have one I can use? I don't have one that I might can look, but I don't know if I got one in my files or not. Happy Easter. Thanks for doing a live show. Always learning valuable lessons from you. Putting out yard signs right now myself. Putting out those money bushes. Happy Easter from Tampa. Mr. TC, sup family, pressure washing. Jason, sup brother. Happy Easter everyone. May all your chickens hatch. What's up? Finally, the weather is allowing us to wash up here in Madison, Wisconsin. It's allowing us to wash in Cincinnati, Ohio. It's been some crappy weather. And you know, I get this question all the time. When can I start washing? When can I start washing? Jason, you said the phone was going to ring maybe in March. And I said maybe in March because sometimes you can wash in March. And sometimes you can't wash till April 9th, right? Because I've mowed the grass one time so far. One time. And I always tell people, when people start mowing their grass every week is when the phone starts ringing, right? Because they're out there looking at their dirty house. Otherwise, they don't see their dirty house. And so that is where the problem is. Shoot, didn't mean to message you on a holiday. What is the discount code? So there is a discount code. If you want the discount code, you can go to pressurewashhelp.com and you can put in the discount code Happy Easter. Happy Easter is the discount code. Was he the highest bidder? We don't know if he was the highest bidder. There was 2 other companies that came in and gave them bids, and they were from down south, they said, and both of them said that they needed a lift. And if you would have had a lift on that, that would have took you 3 days to do that job with a lift. How's it going? It's going awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome. I had a customer tell me that he preferred a guy with a ladder and a pressure to clean his house because he knows what it takes to remove the mold. First time in 7 years that anyone told me that. You know, it isn't the first time I've heard that. I heard it this week, actually. One of my mentors in my mentor class was done with a painter, was trying to get some work with a painter, and he's like, we don't do no soft washing. We got pressure wash the whole house off. Well, if you want the oxidation off, pressure ain't going to get it off either. So I don't know what to tell you, brother. What's up? Mixed videos for you. I'm going to hit a $30,000 month this month. Hallelujah. That is awesome. Who thinks that's awesome? Give me some saying I think that's awesome in the comments. That is awesome. $30,000. You know, and here's the thing about this right here. This is one person working part-time because he has a full-time firefighter job. Actually, it's 2 people. It's him and his wife. But his wife don't help him clean any. This is Jason from Gulf Coast Painting and Pressure Washing. I just had to throw the painting in there because that's what he started off. And then he joined the membership. He was one of my first mentors and going to do a $30,000 month. And I know he hates when I tell this story, but he's gotten way better. He told me that you can't make no money in Florida, Jason, everybody's a $99 guy down here. And you know what I told him? Stick with the program, stick with what I tell you, and look what happened. A $30,000 April. That is freaking awesome. And is there anything special with Jason? Heck, no, there ain't nothing special with Jason. But does he have what it takes? Heck, yes. Is he relentless? Yes. Is he prolific? Yes. Is he consistent? Yes. Even in year 3, he's still doing his 10 rounds. He's still putting out his yard signs. He's still doing his Facebook Lives. He's still doing what he was doing in 2020, what I told him to do back then. He's still doing today to hit a freaking $30,000 month. This is how you hit $30,000 months, is by doing the things that I tell you. Did he do things that I told him not to do? Yes. He went out there and put signs out that had painting on it. And he put signs out that had other things that shouldn't have been on there. And then he come back and said, you know what, Jason, you're right again. Because you got to do the little things, and the little things add up. And when you get the little things adding up, you will do a $30,000 month. Is there anything special about Jason? No, nothing. He's just a fireman down in Florida, in Brandon, Florida, or not actually Brandon, but down in that area, south of Tampa, and did $30,000. Is there anything special with him? No, he only works 3 to 4 days a week. He might be working some Saturdays and Sundays, but if he does, he's got to go to Disney. And he's going to make enough that day to take his kid and wife to Disney. So if you're not making $2,000 in that day, he don't work on Saturdays and Sundays. But guess what, guys? You can do this. There's nothing special about Jason. Jason has talked about he did $1,000 an hour jobs. How do you get $1,000 an hour jobs? By being consistent, prolific, and relentless. When you don't want to go do those 10 rounds, you go do 20 rounds, right? I'm not even saying 5 rounds. When you don't want to do the 5 rounds, you go do 10 rounds. You go do 20 rounds. And you do it on every job over. And even when it's 95 degrees and 100 degrees outside, and the last thing you want to do is go do 5, 10 rounds, you go do it. And guess what happens? You will hit a $30,000 month with one person, and one person doing the marketing and stuff. And that's his wife. They tag team that. How did you get the square feet of the building? Did they provide it or found somewhere? They actually provided it. But you can measure it on Google Maps if you needed to. Learned how to build a 3-stage RODI setup this weekend. Not that hard. Now I can fix and repair it, any of it. Nice. That's the one thing I tell you about building your own equipment is when we're dealing with pressure washing equipment, it's going to break. And let's go back to it. It's going to break. And, I was just raving about Jason, right? Jason is not mechanically inclined very much. He struggles in this part of it, right? He had a neighbor that helped him build his rig. He went to pay somebody else to do some other stuff to it, but you don't have to. But it does help you when you build your own equipment to know how to fix it when it breaks, because it's going to break. DJ's truck is brand spanking new. Well, it's a Ford, first off. Let's just leave it at that. Let's go show this nice jewel that he has here, because I want to tell you what happens when you get a good deal. You know what happens when you think you get a good deal? Let's talk about what happens when you get a good deal. Now, DJ knows I poke at him about this thing, and it's just because I can, right? I can do that. But let's talk about good deal, right? This is a whole new setup for this year. He's got a new truck here. A new truck, quote unquote, it is new now because it's got a new rear end, it's got a new back window, it's got a new injector, it's got a bunch of money put into this stupid thing. He got a good deal on this truck at $10,000, and $12,000 later, he's got hopefully a decent truck at $22,000. just into the truck. And not including the equipment on the truck. But we literally just got done putting all of this equipment on this truck. This truck, we put a new, it's got a new gas pump, roof pump. That's where how we were able to shoot up the stronger stuff. It's got an 8-gallon here, a 5-gallon here, hot. And so this truck, guess what? It looks like a freaking sprinkler this weekend. And I'm not even saying that to be funny. It looked like a sprinkler this weekend. There's leaks all over that stupid thing, right? And so that's what happens sometimes. Sometimes that happens to even the best of us when we're building rigs. They have sprinklers. And so we were keeping the ground underneath of it wet. So it is a Ford in case it catched on fire. It wouldn't burn the ground because we had the sprinkler on there going. Make money and build dreams. Yep. What safety wear would you recommend for a regular job? I like safety sunglasses are good. Sometimes I like to use the nitrile gloves a lot of times to keep your hands, keep the chemicals off of it. I like to use like the sun hats. They work good to keep the sun off of you and the bleach off of you. Awesome. Thank you for your answer. Everything perfect. I love decks. High ticket, but it's definitely a learned skill. Yep. Make it rain. Jersey Shore Power Washing. Decks are terrible. Charge enough for them to say no, and when they don't, you get paid. I would agree with this one here. I hate decks. I hate cleaning decks, period. I hate cleaning decks. And he put, yep. How do you schedule jobs based on location, like grouping same locations on same day so you aren't driving all over town every day? And so this can be tough, but like Cincinnati's a big circle, and so you can cut it up in fourth. And every Monday you book this section, every Tuesday you book this section, every Wednesday you book this section, and every Friday you book this section. Or the ones that are close, then you can kind of tie in wherever it is. But this is true. You can spend a lot of money in windshield time. Now, once you get 2 or 3 trucks, this isn't such a big issue because one truck go north, one truck go south, and then you can do them that way at that point. Or one truck go east, and one truck goes west, and then you come back. I always like starting out at the furthest. And then working my way back to the shop. That way, when you're starting out at the furthest, you kind of get that long drive time done in the morning, and then you're driving back as you come back when getting stuff done. Just got a message to clean a warehouse near an airport. You never know who is going to call you up for work. Stay prolific, and that's what I agree 100%. Read it off of your recommendation. Very helpful. Stop stealing other guys' yard signs. There's enough work for everyone, no matter that. Did one a couple days ago. It took me twice as long to do the deck as it did the entire house wash, driveway, front porch, flat work, and sidewalks and walkways. I'm not disagreeing with you there. I will light base my purchase off of what people talk bad about the product, and if I didn't find the answers to usually product, I usually don't even buy it. Was doing well, then nothing. How to get the phone ringing again? Well, don't stop marketing, right? You can never stop marketing. Even when you get busy, throw the gas on the fire, right? We're going to keep it going. There's not just one magic thing that gets your phone ringing. I'm going to go back up to Jason when Jason, a couple months, it was probably about a year ago. He's like, man, I got 5 different phone calls from 5 different things, right? Might be a sign. It might be a card, a referral. It might be, a LinkedIn. It might be Facebook. It might be EDDM, a Google ad, a Facebook post, a Facebook group, right? We want to do everything. Now, I get it. It can be hard, especially when we don't know what we don't know. And so with that said, obviously we want to get our reviews, right? So we're building our Google My Business. We're going to get now. When the very beginning, I used to tell people, go get your Google My Business set up right out of the get-go. That's not so much true no more. You used to didn't have to have a website. You didn't have to have any of that stuff. Now you got to have all of that stuff to be able to do that. Make sure if we're going to say we're going to put out yard signs, this is usually what happens. I'll tell you what happens. People are like, yes, I'm going to put out yard signs. Awesome. How many are you going to put out? I'm going to put out 100. Okay. Is that a week, a month, or a year? I'm going to put out 100. I'm going to put out 25 a week because that's what you say. Okay, cool. That's a good plan. I like that plan. Awesome. And then a week or two later, I'm going to put out yard signs. Didn't you say that 2 weeks ago? Yeah, but I did, and it got my phone ringing. I quit work, and I got a bunch of work, and a month later, I quit doing it because I didn't really like doing it, and my phone quit ringing. Well, whatever works, keep doing it. A couple months in my mentorship, I talk about a little bit. If you want to go check out my mentorship, I do have a few openings. You can go to kingofpressurewash.com/mentorship. And in there, I had them write down what their marketing plan is, right? Do you have a marketing plan? How often are you going to write? How often are you going to post? How often are you going to put your signs out? When are you going to do your EDDM? Do you have everything for this? Because this is what usually happens is people get into these groups and somebody said, man, I sent an EDDM out and I got a $10,000 job. And guess what everybody else is? Well, I'm going to go do an EDM. This guy did it and he got a $10,000 job. And they don't know what they're doing. They haven't done nothing. They're just throwing stuff up in the air and hoping something catches on the way down, and it don't usually. And so this is why it's important to have a marketing plan, a plan for marketing. Hey, you know what? I'll give you another one. Trish is in here, and in her marketing plan, she's going to post once a day on Facebook, LinkedIn, and Google My Business, and Instagram, I think it is. And guess what? Last year, her phone rang once or twice a week. Can anybody guess how many times it's ringing this year? It's ringing 2 to 3 times a day. And it's just the beginning of the season, right? She's already given out a $10,000 bid, already closed a $5,800 job. How do you do this? By planning instead of reacting. A lot of us business owners have ADD, and we hear sign, get business. Ooh, we go buy signs, and we put them in the garage, and they stay in the garage because we did the first action, but the action that matters we haven't done yet. Or, ooh, I'm going to post because Jason said Trisha got 3 calls a day because in a $10,000 bid and a $5,000 job, and I'm going to do that. And a week later, you quit posting, or you never post in the beginning, right? You have to take action. If you don't take action, there's nothing going to happen. And you know what? I hear it all the time too is, man, Jason, I'm too old for that stuff. Bull crap. I got Brian Fletcher in here. He's 65 years old and is doing this stuff, right? Guess what? He did a Facebook Live. You know what? He's 65 years old and did a Facebook Live. So don't tell me you're too old to do this stuff. You can tell me you're too lazy to do this stuff, or you're too ornery to do this stuff, but don't tell me you can't figure it out, because I see you on your phone and I see you looking up different things and knowing different things. So don't tell me you can't do this, because you can. Now, is it as easy as some of these younger guys like Nathan? Probably not, because he grew up on these things. He had one of these things when he was 5, 6, 7 years old, and that's just the way life is, right? What's up? How do you collect? How and when do you collect payment? I like to collect payment right after the job. This is when I like to collect payment. I like to collect payment through credit card usually, or if it was just myself, it would be cash, credit, check, anything. I don't really like check because now I got to take an extra step and go to the bank and get it cash or not to lose it, which I've lost checks. But most of your CRMs will do your be able to do payment, and so you can do, if you don't have anything, you can use Yard Books. It's completely free, and you can get them to do the credit cards. It does cost you 3%, whatever, per transaction. Just raise your prices, and that's how you get that 3% back. We got Mr. Tristan in the house. What's up, dude? Everyone hit the like button. It's hard with a full-time job, but I love the hustle. It is hard. I never said it was easy. It's hard with it being a full-time. It's still hard. Just bought 200 yard signs out. Have put out over 400 this year. Did they catch Sean? That I don't know. I haven't heard. I doubt it. What's up, Pro Clean? Mr. Zerny, did you all use a 12 volt or downstream? On that job, we actually used the roof pump. If I didn't have the roof pump, we would have used the downstream injector. Some of that, I think, most of that would have came off with the downstream injector. We may have needed to use a 12 volt on some of that. So it would have probably depend on where we were, where we would have been at for it. We may have been on it. If I did, I may have had to use a 12 volt, and a 12 volt would not have reached up that high. But we would have probably used a pole or something to make it reach that high. Happy Easter to you, Hurricane Christian. I bid on a 12,000 job, and someone got it for 4,000. This is New Jersey Shore. Well, sometimes you win some, sometimes you lose some. Did you sell the price? Did you sell value? Did you sell that you had insurance? A lot of that helps. Who do you know? Yeah, I only get the oxidation off siding when they don't want it to. Yeah. Jamie, I am ready to grow and eventually get on your channel to show, even if you come from the ghetto, you can achieve greatness. You can achieve greatness, man. It's all about taking action. That's what it's all about. I don't care if you're in the ghetto. I don't care if you have poor mindset. You can be a redneck out in the middle of nowhere, and you can make money doing this. I got a buddy that's a redneck out in the middle of nowhere, and he's doing $500,000 a year, right? Mr. Wash. But he's doing it, and he's got 2 trucks on the road and making $500,000 a year. It can be done. It's not rocket science. It is not rocket science. Put in there, it is not rocket science. Awesome. Good work. I actually had someone request high pressure as well this week. They were receptive to soft washing. However, once I educated on the subject, they booked with us. Wow. Imagine that. What if you had that on your website talking about this stuff, right? Educating them, giving them the questions. 30,000, that is crazy. Good, keep going. Can't wait till I'm there. That's awesome. Just bought a $250 Home Depot washer. Finally get started. Can you mentor me if possible? Message me. I'm in the mentorship. Like I said, kingofpressurewash.com/mentorship is the link. And it'll send you to a page. And if you can't afford that, message me. If you want to know when I go live, sign up, text here. You can text King, K-I-N-G, to 859-696-1101. And I text out right before we go live, so that way you can hear when I go live. I need a flatbed truck with hot water. Yes, you will with those Mickey D's. When you get a good deal, the seller has made an awesome deal. Yep. How many trucks on that truck? How many miles on that truck? It had like 100,000 on it, supposedly. Hey, Easy about the Fords. I have a big Ford truck and I built all my own equipment. Well, I like poking at the Fords. Found on Road Dead, Fix or Repair Daily. I got more. I always wear big hat, sunglasses, and gloves. Nothing gets done without those, literally. Placed out 100 signs 2 weeks ago. Unfortunately, not a single lead. Big lettering, gutter cleaning with a big phone number. Maybe nobody wants to be gutter cleaned. That's what's wording. I mean, sometimes it works that way. Sometimes they do. Sometimes they don't. Make sure you have the right phone number on there. I know that can be very disappointing because DJ had the wrong phone number on his. Loving hook 'em to no ladder locks, bungees go bye bye. Two guys tag team, 140,000 square feet parking lot, 20-inch surface cleaners, estimate job time. Well, are both of them on an 20? So here's how, on average, this is average, with a 20-inch surface cleaner, with a good person's surface cleaning, you can do roughly about 2,000 square feet per hour. So a lot of time is what you are. So you may be having to think about it that way. I always average about 2,000 square feet per hour is usually where you're at. Got 8 calls yesterday. That's awesome. We like when the phone rings. Slow season, I post 3 times a week. Busy season, I'll post 5 days a week. I see you on there. Hey, I see Tristan content. You know, if you haven't been following Tristan, he does put out a lot of information. Some of it's good, some of it's meh. uh, I like busting his balls a little bit. Yeah, I washed a check in the laundry. I don't accept checks anymore. Embarrassing, asking for a new one. Whoops a doodle. 24 would reach that with no wind. Well, it wouldn't have reached yesterday because the wind was rocking. Christian, we're at in New Jersey. I put out 50. And if you guys got any more questions, I'm already at 47 minutes. I didn't know if I'd have anybody show up. We're at almost 80 people and and I haven't got many questions. If you guys got questions, ask because I'll answer them here. I put out 50 yard signs in my local supermarket, Dunkin' Donuts. I already quadrupled my money off signs investment and still have 150. Signs are awesome. I love signs. April is booked. Raise your prices then. That's the beautiful thing about that. I have a roof wash on. Joe, I don't want to be the Walmart of the washing industry. I want to be the Whole Foods. Me too. I agree. Jason, what's the best way to remove orange coloring staining off of white vinyl siding? I only see this on the white. My question is, I'm assuming it's rust, but I could be wrong. Um, I would want to know what that orange is. It's probably rust. What's above it that's rusting down on it. You could use at that point. You're going to use an acid, so like Rust Removal Plus, F9. You could probably use oxalic acid, and that is how you can do those. I don't know if my phone had downloaded these videos here. If it has, I don't know if I can play these videos while I'm talking. Let's see here. Because we actually, oh, you know what? I effed that one up. I screwed that one up. I forgot about that. So I'll show you the picture here of some rust. I was supposed to do a video of it, and I actually messed it up. But this is some rust here that we did with what did we use? Rust Removal Plus is what we used to get that clean. Yeah. So here is me working. I don't know if this is going to be loud or not.
All right, there you go.
But this is us using the roof pump and making it work. So I think actually DJ is pressure washing this too. Yeah, he pressure washes this. So this is getting pressure washed. So, we love pressure washing, right? We love, if you're not doing videos for yourself and doing that stuff, you should, because it is definitely worth you doing the videos. Jason, best way to remove the orange color. So oxalic acid or an acid or a stronger acid, depending on what it is. I do like Rust Removal Plus. I do like F9, Bark. There's other stuff out there too, but those are known ones that I like. I have a roof wash coming up this week. First time running into solar panels. Any tips? Any tips around the area that I should be rinsing that area? Yeah, the solar panels. And I probably wouldn't try to get that stuff on the solar panels either. I would probably try to keep you from getting on there a whole lot. You got to remember that SH is very conductive, so you don't want it on the wires. And so that's where it is. Now, the one thing I would say is most times the solar panels are on the sunny side, right? They're not on the north facing side, because if they were on the north facing side, they wouldn't get no sun. So most of the time, the roof that needs clean is going to be on the north facing side. So on the north facing side, that's where I would do that for sure. Yeah, I was going to say that one too about it, but you said it nicely. Hey, Rob, good family stuff the last few months, but trucking along. How about you? Pretty good. Big Rob. I spent 2 months in Florida and was able to get some decent work down there in the month of March. Mr. Kevin, how are you doing? Thank you, family. Where do I message you through? You can either message me through my Facebook or that 859-696-1101. You can just send me a message through there. Just tell me you can send me through there. City Hall called Thursday. Going to quote them tomorrow. Never had a job that caliber. Any tips? How do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. Break it down, and that is the best way to do that. And see what, try to shoot for whatever and go from there. Why don't you offer kitchen exhaust and hood cleaning? Because it is nasty. And it don't pay a whole lot. Now, there is good money in it, but it is disgusting. You do have to you want to get certified and make sure you know what you're doing, because you trip the system and you will not make any money. I need more yard signs. Washing is 5 times on signs, is 5 times on marketing. Jason, what type of strainer would you recommend, if any, at all, for my shop drop stick? The black plastic ones don't seem, I wouldn't use any. I never used any, because that's just restriction. I don't have much, but I'm all ready to give whatever I can. Send me a message. My goal is to change my family tree, starting with my kids. Where did the rest of you go? Carnivore for the win. Keep it up. Yeah, I haven't even hit on myself here lately. I have lost some weight. I've lost right at 40 pounds. I was down a little. I was down to 42 this past week. Last week I weighed in so I started out at 319 and January 9th, and I started doing carnivore diet. All I do is eat meat. I do eat some nuts, and I like pistachios. I'll eat some pistachios. But other than that, all I eat is meat. I will eat some like green beans and a sweet potato if I go out to eat, but I don't eat anything other than that. And so I started in January 9th and I weighed 319 pounds. I did not want to hit the 320 mark. And so I started it then. I've been on it for, since then. In the last week, I weighed in, I always weigh in like Saturday, Sunday. I weighed in at 277. I did something stupid this week. We went to Amish country and I ate good food and I cheated for a day. And this week I was up to 280 and I was like, oh no. So today I weighed myself as 279. I think I might have lost some weight today. So I'm hoping tomorrow I'll weigh in under that. So, but it is like business, right? You have to be determined. You have to do what you want to do to be able to get your weight, right? I know a lot of people struggle with weight. And so I'm getting some love right now. I love you too, guys. Somebody on Facebook must be hitting the hearts. But it is definitely something that I have lost probably 2 or 3 inches in the waist. Most of my clothes are falling off of me. I'm going to have to go shopping before long. My goal is to get down to 250. That's where my goal is. I do exercise. I go swimming 3 days a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And so I want to start either running or biking. I don't know which one I want to do more, but I would like to either start biking or running is what I would like to do to help me lose these next few pounds that I want to go there. I do know some other people that I have inspired that I've talked to, and they have lost 10 to 20 pounds, which is awesome. And some guys have lost more than that, that they've heard my story and they've done it. And that's one reason why I've kept you all involved in my story. And people like Jeremy say, dang, man, where the other half of you go? Well, that's why I done it. It's definitely not rust. I'll send you some pictures. It's not vertical from dripping, but here and there, possibly something coming out of the weep holes. Even if it's coming out of the weep holes, you usually will clean that stuff up. Ever notice how to see the same ads on TV, YouTube, and over again? Sometimes every commercial break, consistency is key. Will a downstream mix remove stain from a if it's not sealed? It's not going to probably remove the stain, but if it's like this black wood right here, it'll remove that, right? I'm out, Jason, early tomorrow. See you, man. People will millions of dollars certainly know how to market it, just on a different budget. How much extra did you charge for construction cleanup on windows? The liability of scratching a window doesn't seem worth it. Well, it depends on what you're doing. Are you talking about doing a lot of painting? Are you doing, a lot of paint on it? What's your involvement of it? If you have an 8-gallon washer and a wand and a surface cleaner rated at 6.5, what will happen? Will it mess it up or will it go out on the it'll go out on the unloader? All you got to do is change the tips out. Go get you 2 new tips or 4, whatever it is, and put new tips in it, and then that way you'll be better. You look good, man. I definitely can tell you look healthy. Take your weight once a week. Your weight will always fluctuate day to day. I know. Yep. Congratulations. Keep improving business and living healthy lifestyle. And that's something I've been hearing too, is your health is your wealth, right? And I believe that. I mean, I was feeling awful, man. My back was always hurting me. My joints were always hurting me. So what kind of stainless steel teeth do I need to bypass injector? Hydraulic line will work. Hydraulic fittings are your best ones. Make sure they're rated for 4,000 psi is the biggest key. I want to hit on that. I know we're getting close, but I want to hit on that because somebody messaged me and I want to hit on it. What are some good examples of packages to offer? My favorite is house wash, exterior window cleaning, and driveway cleaning. If you're doing a roof cleaning, it's a roof clean, it's a house wash, it's exterior window cleaning. Those are my 6 favorites. Do you find putting a check value on chemical injectors always gives you more SH? I don't know. They say it does. What's your thoughts on an X-Jet? I love mine on my 8-gallon minute. I don't really love an X-Jet because you got to carry a bucket around. Here's what I want to say. So somebody sent me a picture of the gun that you use in the soft wash. It was a red gun. And I know there's idiots out on YouTube. Let's just put it this way. There are idiots. There are freaking dumb idiots out on YouTube. And I'm putting it nicely. And he sends me this picture and says, man, I seen this on YouTube, and this guy is using this for his pressure washer. And I'm like, don't do this, as in big letters of do not do this. I don't care who you are. The gun is rated for 350 PSI, and you put 4,000 in there. What do you think's going to happen? And I don't care if it don't happen right away, but it's going to happen over time. It's going to explode in your hand, right? So don't be stupid. There are a ton of ding-dongs on YouTube. I promise you. There's people on here that will lie to you. There's people on here that will tell you a fib and that they did it, and they ain't done nothing, right? I can show you the bill for this job right here that we're doing right here. And so don't always believe what you see. And the guy that I think that showed this video, that I know this is stupid, man. This is something, red gun is only for 300 PSI. You're right. And when I seen that, I'm like, dude, you cannot put this on a pressure washer. This is on a soft wash gun, not a pressure washer. You know, and so you have to be careful, man. I've seen other people do the same dumb stuff. You know, make sure it is rated. Not every fitting is rated for a pressure washer. In fact, very few fittings are rated for a pressure washer. And so I do not want to see you get hurt. I promise you, I do not want to see you get hurt. That's what I promise you. So with that, I hope you all have an awesome Easter. Look at that. The video just got done here of the nice clean wood. And so I hope you all have an amazing week. I hope you all have the phone start ringing. Take action. Do not think that the phone is going to ring because you do nothing. If you do nothing, the phone will do nothing. You have to take action, be consistent, be prolific, be relentless. Go to King of Pressure Wash, put in Happy Easter, and join us on the Monday Night Marketing right now is in there with this book right here. I highly recommend this book. If you haven't read it, I highly recommend you read this book. And we are going over chapter 5 this week. I hope you all have a great night. King of Pressure Wash. Also, if you want to website, if you want me to do some of your marketing, I have 3 different packages at kingofmarketing.io. I'm starting to do more. I'm hoping to roll out an estimator tool this week. That will be awesome, and you are awesome. So I will have an awesome King of Marketing or an estimator tool that will work with follow-ups and all kinds of stuff. If you're not following up, you're leaving money on the table. And then if you want to know when my next training is, you can go to kingofpressurewash.com or kpwtrain.com. And there my next training I have is in July. We're going to have Christmas lights. I'm going to see about doing a permanent lighting class coming up. I don't know, but I want to. And so with that, I hope you all have a great day, and I'll see you all next week.